Yay! Welcome to Module 2. Congratulations, you made it through your first week. So you can actually practice awareness of the breath and nothing else for the rest of your life. Being aware of the breath or practicing with the breath is one of the doors to our liberation from our unnecessary mental suffering. So working with the breath is the first part of mindfulness of body. And this week, we're going to work with mindfulness of body and emotions. But before we get started, let's take a short sit together just to tune into the space and set your intention for the module. So go ahead and find your seat. If you need to pause the video for a moment while you do that, that's fine. Go ahead and close your eyes if that's accessible for you. If not, you can leave them open with a soft downward gaze. And bring awareness to the breath and the sensations of breathing in the body by connecting and taking a couple of deep, intentional breaths all the way into the belly, filling the lower lungs, the backs of the ribs, up into the chest and under the collarbones. And exhale, you can let out a sigh if you wish. Now, go ahead and resume your natural breathing rhythm, taking a moment to ground yourself, noticing your body resting in space, connected to your cushion or chair or the floor, as it is supported by Mother Earth. And bringing awareness back to the breath. Noticing either the beginning, middle, and end of each breath, or even the space between the breaths. You might even notice the very subtle space between the top of the inhalation before exhalation begins. And if you become distracted, it's no problem. Just a gentle, kind reminder to come back to the breath and the sensations of breathing. Now allow your breath to recede to the background of your awareness and bring some awareness to the body, taking note of any physical sensations that might be present, maybe areas of tension or discomfort. And with your inhalation, send some loving energy to that area of tension and see if you can allow it to relax as you exhale. If that is not easy or accessible for you, that's okay. You might even take a moment to notice any emotions that you're carrying with you today as we learn how to practice with the body and emotions. These are things that you will become more comfortable and experienced with recognizing. And then we'll offer a brief dedication of merit, collecting all of the gratitude for yourself for practicing today. I am grateful that you are practicing today. Collected in your heart center. This accumulation of merit, and you are going to generate it outward so that all beings can benefit from your practice and from what you're learning. It is said that the world is based on the individual. And if we can heal our individual selves, then it inspires those around us to do the same. So, in a sense, your practice here today is a way of inviting peace to the world. Hey, welcome back. We took a moment to investigate what's going on in the body, and this is what we are going to be doing more this week. But as usual, I am going to assign your practice instructions or homework for the week. So as last week, I'm going to offer your practice instructions for the week or homework. This week, if you have been sitting 5 minutes, then I suggest to add 5 more minutes. You're actually going to be doubling your time. And if this is a lot or it feels like too much, you can back off a minute or two the following day. If you manage to only make it to your cushion and notice a few breaths, then I suggest you start your timer at 5 minutes. By the end of the week, I am hopeful that you will be able to sit comfortably for 10 minutes. Now, in this module, you are going to be having some longer practice sessions with me. And I suggest you don't count that as part of your daily practice. The reason for this is because when people tend to practice with these videos, they don't do it at the same time. So we are creating a habit that is going to just be part of your life. So if you please go sit down on your cushion and practice the same time every day using your timer. These sessions are going to be a little bit longer, which is actually intentional because there is a lot of instruction in the guided practice that I offer. Now, I do suggest that you can revisit these practice sessions time and time again, anytime that you feel like you need to. But again, I want you to be able to practice on your own. So do your best to work with these techniques in your practice throughout the week as you did with the breath last week. So you're going to be a little bit lost and confused for part of it, and that's fine. It's normal. Anytime you notice that you are lost in thought, gently bring your awareness back to your breath or anchor of sound, and then try to begin again. This is not a problem, of course. This is just a normal part of practicing as you learn how to practice. So however long you decide to set your timer for this week, whether it be 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I do suggest that if you are having difficulty settling into your practice, then you can work with counting the breaths. If you are going to work with the body scan that you will learn later on in this module, that's fine too. But if you get lost, just as I mentioned, please bring your awareness back to the breath. Then if you need to, you can go ahead and count the breaths instead. That's not a problem. As you do this, if you notice that you're experiencing a lot of restlessness, wanting to get up or wishing the bell to signify the end of your practice, that's okay. It's normal. So my suggestion is to notice this restlessness, and instead of identifying with it by saying, I'm so restless, you will actually disidentify by saying, there's some restlessness here. There's restlessness present. And this is going to help you observe without being attached. And we are going to expand on this quite a bit more later on in the module. But basically, when we are identified with our own suffering, we start to work against it, or we become combative or resistant to what is going on right now. So when that happens, it actually grows stronger. Now, ideally, as I mentioned, you will be sitting for 10 minutes or more even by the end of the week. If 10 minutes is very comfortable for you and you feel like increasing your time a little bit, go ahead and do that. However, I don't suggest to strive for sitting for very long periods because it can actually create a hindrance. This is basically what I dealt with for a long time as a practitioner because I wanted to be a good meditator, that I would be very ambitious and set my practice sessions for quite a long time. And then it would become very difficult. And then the next day I would try to sit for the same amount of time. And it was so difficult that after a week or so of practicing like that, I would just completely abandon the practice altogether. And I don't want that to happen to you. So again, if you notice that you are very impatient long before the timer goes off, then that is your sign to back off a couple of minutes the following day. But again, if you are sitting comfortably and you are surprised when the timer goes off, it feels like you just sat down, then go ahead and increase for a couple of minutes. This is not mandatory. You don't have to increase the time. If 10 minutes is comfortable with you and you want to stay there for the week, go ahead and do that. Now, as a reminder, it's never the goal to be without thought. It's never the goal to be good at meditation. The only goal that you should have is to simply sit and practice. Now, this week we are going to work with mindfulness of body and emotions. As I have mentioned, there are 4 foundations of mindfulness. They are contemplation of the body, contemplation of feelings, and contemplation of mind. And the 4th one is contemplation of dhammas. The Pali word for mindfulness is kaya-nupassana, and this word is made up of kaya, which means body, and anupassana, which means observation or contemplation. So kaya-nupassana means to observe the body closely. The second foundation that we'll be working with in this module is Vedana-nupassana. Vedana means feeling tone. So you already know what anupassana means. So this means that we are paying very close attention to the feeling tone, which I will explain later on in this module. When working with mindfulness of the body, the most widely used technique that you've probably heard of is called the body scan. And this was my very first practice when I was a 13-year-old in a residential treatment center. So first, when we practice this way, we are going to bring awareness to the breath because it's in the body. Then we're going to observe the body breathing, paying attention to our inhalation and our exhalation. Then we begin to notice the body as a whole, whatever posture we are in, taking a moment to note any physical tension or discomfort that we are experiencing before returning to the breath for another moment. Then we can work with the breath and send loving awareness to the areas of tension and help invite a sense of relaxation to the body. If you're unable to do that, that's okay. Just move back to the breath. Then the next part of the practice moves away from the breath to various areas of the body. Some teachers might guide you from the head down to the feet, and others might start from the feet and work up to the head. There is no wrong way to practice this. And as awareness becomes more refined and you start to notice the body in different ways, then it becomes very interesting and complex. So this practice can be very intricate. But because this is an introductory course, I'm going to keep it relatively simple. And if you are a Sangha member, you will have the opportunity to grow in this practice and learn a lot more of the other techniques. And in the next video, you are going to get acquainted with the body scan practice. Thank you very much.